Hello and welcome back to Snack Play Love, where today I'm going to show you a quick setup video for the Samsung Freestyle. It's still in its case. The only thing I've done is I have plugged in the power adapter into the wall because it's a pain to get to while you're doing the videos. So essentially, most of the things that you do at the moment to buy this come with the carry case. So you're going to get the carry case and you have the thing. It's very small. I'm sort of foreshortening it by bringing it close to the iPad. It has two sockets, HDMI and USB-C, which is useful, but the HDMI is the small one and I don't actually have any of those cables yet to test it with for that. But it has a lot of built-in stuff, which is what we're going to show today. It has many little sensors and buttons on there, but you can also use the remote, which I'm going to have to go and get from the other room because I forgot to get that. But let us get it started first. So I'm going to presume that the first video and this one have matched together perfectly. The little unit itself is quite flexible. In fact, let's move it a bit further forward, and can tilt at various angles. It's very secure on the table. We had it on the Fireplace last night and that was absolutely perfect. I'll show you that setup another day because really doesn't look very good in the daylight at that distance. But it's advertised as going up to 100 inches, which is hard for me to understand being an English person. But we had it much larger than that because we managed to get it to focus from further away. So here's the Samsung One smart remote. It's now singing to us. So this is on the far wall. I'll go and stand by that so you've got an idea of the scale. But let me just move some things around so you can actually see better what's happening. Because while the projector itself is very interesting, what you probably want to see is the wall. It's going to go into Samsung TV Plus and get me copyright.
Maybe it removed a little surface for us.
There we go, copyright strikes. So it's too far up, it's far too dim. So what we need to do is move it down. Now, normal projector, you'd have to adjust that, but Samsung Freestyle does it for you, which is great. But there are some little bits of downside due to that. It needs to go off a bit actually. Some people online have complained that the keystone doesn't automatically happen, but that is because they're using it from too far away and they haven't realised that changing the angle of the projector is what causes it to do it again. So if I push it up, it'll adjust, he says, there we go, and then I push it down again, it adjusts back. That's what causes it to happen. So if yours isn't adjusting, it's probably that. I've got the bay window curtains open at the moment as well for later demonstration. If I close that, then at least to me in the room, that's actually quite a bit better. That's now watchable. With the curtains open, it was doable, but it's not perfect. So, it's going back onto Samsung TV Plus. They need to turn that feature off because otherwise it gets annoying. So just to avoid any potential problems, I'm just going to choose, let's choose Disney. We like Disney. So there's a little bit of a delay on the remote at the moment. People have complained quite a lot about that on the internet. So I think it was actually a lot worse originally. Now it's doable. And just choose me. I'm not going to play any programs. Obviously that would cause problems. We watched West Side Story with this last night and that was really good. We watched it in the other room, so the screen was probably about half as big again as it is now. And if I stand next to this for scale, and I'm pretty big, so you can see we've got that part as the projection, which is probably just over a metre. That's about a metre, yeah, about there. So 120, and then width's 2 metres across. So this is what it's sold as doing. Hey, look, it's adjusting because I'm in the way. It's adjusting at about the 100 inches that they've said, but if you've got a perfectly dark room, and didn't know that was on here, that's quite a good one. If you've got a perfectly dark room like we had last night with the blackout blinds down, then you can get a really good picture at sort of much larger than this. But the actual projected area is about here, and about here. You can't quite see it with the brightness of this room, but because of the keystone correction, the screen you're getting is always going to be slightly smaller than the screen that you're projecting. And you can move it closer to get a little bit more image sharpness, but as long as it's auto-focusing, as long as it's within the range where it's going to auto-focus, you're not going to have a problem. So let's just press the Prime Video button. I'd forgotten there's a Disney Plus button, I could have just pressed that. The smart remote has extra buttons to the one that I'm used to, so I've not got used to that. So now we can sit and watch Picard. The sound in the unit it's interesting. The problem with the projector is if you're sitting in between the projector and the screen, then all of the sound's going to be behind you. And while it's got 360-degree sound, which is actually quite reasonable for the speaker, I mean the speaker of the size that this is, it just sounds wrong when it's all behind you. If you do the old cinema trick of sitting quite low in the chair so that the sound is bouncing off the walls, that works really well. But if you've got a direct line between your head and the speaker, then all of the people are talking and singing behind you, and all of the lip sync feels out. But yeah, I don't know what to show you on here that isn't going to be horribly problematic. I mean, will YouTube copyright YouTube? So that was moving quite well. I have tried gaming on this. I've tried attaching it to a HP laptop and just doing some basic sort of card-based games. That has a little bit too much input lag. As you can guess from the suggestions, we've been playing the videos for the cats. In fact, that's probably not going to get copyright, so let's do that. Greg's adverts. The big issues with the projector at the moment is if you suddenly decide that you want this to be in a different position in the room, it's currently plugged in over here. So while I could move it to the plugs on the other side of the room to get a nice small picture and be a bit sharper, that's not going to work because I'd have to physically unplug the projector. Typically we're getting long form adverts. So as you can see, this is a bit bleached out. This is in a fairly bright room. As I've said, we have a giant bay window opposite, which at night isn't a problem, but to my eyes it's adjusted quite well. But the HDR on the iPad is trying to adjust out for the brightness, so that's not good. But this is a perfectly serviceable day projector for interesting things that you might want to watch during the day. Don't know why this isn't standing on. So later to come on the channel, I'm going to test it with a variety of other things. As I say, these are just the built-in apps. There is oh no, we need to go over here. Still not used to Samsung menus. There is ambient, which you can use up your projector's lifespan to put a city on the wall. These are surprisingly slow and surprisingly low resolution. But let's go a bit closer. If you were projecting that onto the wall in a bar, it would probably look very professional. But you can't tailor it. If you could type in the name of your bar or type the name of the person you're wishing happy birthday and have that appear on the projector in the same sort of neon thing, or maybe have those lights flash above it or something like that, then maybe that'd be worth it. But you're not going to pay £1,000 for that. The Fireplace, again, these Fireplace videos that you've got on the slow TV, things like Netflix, and even Disney's got one for Frozen, are much more impressive than that. you're going to project that into a fireplace and it will look reasonable and people will be slightly fooled. But again, you can get much cheaper projectors to do a very similar job. The joy of this is that it's movable. But at the moment, because we haven't got the battery pack for it, you kind of have to just set it up and let it run. These are quite pretty. Again, if your life needs a screensaver on a wall, then that's pretty cool. And bear in mind, this is on textured wallpaper as well. I don't know whether you can see on this wall that's closer to us. It's rather weird grotty wallpaper that was here when we moved in that we've never bothered to change. And projecting this onto one of our blinds actually looks amazingly like cinema quality compared to this. But they're much smaller. So we decided to just broadcast it onto the wall and take the hit in quality. But this is what it's for, I think. I think it's for fun stuff. You're focused more on the good times that you're having and not the super duper sharp quality. These are surprisingly low quality as well, because I mean, assuming it's got some onboard memory, then you'd think that you could show off the projector a little bit better than having this. But to finish, if Disney's still open. So everything just takes that little bit longer to load than it does on the QLED TV, which is also Samsung. So the brains they've put inside this are clearly decent, but they're not quite up to the standard that you'd maybe hope. We can probably get away with playing the trailer. But thank you for watching anyway. And if you want to see any specific things tried out with this, then let me know. I'm still trying to figure out a reasonable way to get it hooked up to the Xbox X, and I'm still trying to find a decent way to hook up some external speakers. See, that's looking incredibly washed out now. We could see everything last night. No, that's making it look bad. I'm going to stop. But I will do some footage tonight when it gets dark and upload that later.
This is my first time in New York City.